What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got a random music collection update to do for you. Got a lot of great bands to be talking to you about here. As per usual, CDs first, tapes, and then vinyl records. The first band I'm going to show you is part of the CDs here. This is from Nuclear War Now Productions. This is the debut from MEFITIC entitled Woes of Mortal Devotion. These guys are based out of Italy, and this band has put out quite a good amount of material long before this debut even came to fruition. This came out earlier in the year, and this is some very high quality, very bleak and morbid sounding Black Death. A lot of great vocal work being done here, incredible riffs, solid production. This is a very awesome release, and very much, I admit I was a little bit late on listening to a release like this, but I had seen the artwork pass up and down, the artwork being shown around, and I finally got around to listening to it on their Bandcamp page, and then I bought the CD, and I think it's worth it. There's also vinyl versions available of this too. I'm pretty sure I'll be getting a copy of this sometime down the line, but this is a really awesome debut album and well worth the wait for a band like MEFITIC. Really great stuff. Next up is the latest release from probably one of the best brutal death metal record labels going today, and that of course would be New Standard Elite. And I'm talking about the debut full-length from VULNUS entitled Vessels of Throw. Like the band I mentioned previously, MEFITIC, this band had put out a really fair, reasonable amount of material prior to this debut. They're based out of Greece, and I really think that this is a band that can hype up what they've been working on for many, many years. I think this is not your typical run-of-the-mill brutal death metal. Of course, you're going to get some very smart guitar riffs, well thought-out songwriting, great production, but there's some deeper, intelligent vibes going on behind the scenes of this sort of release. When it comes to the overall concepts, the artwork, and even the lyrical content. I mean, take songs like Concealed in Fractals and Neurons Subjected to Entropia. Just some great songwriting and lyric writing going on with those songs, and I think this album cover is really cool too. It's far and away different from what you would expect on a normal brutal death metal release. But this is some great stuff. I mean, if you happen to dig stuff like maybe Mass Infection or maybe Inveracity, these guys are joining them as far as the Greek style of brutal death metal is concerned. I think VULNUS is a really great band to be listening to. This last stack of CDs are some bands that I'm pretty sure every single metal fan in the world would know who I'm talking about. First off, we have something I reviewed recently. This is the Black Dahlia Murder with Abysmal. I've always been a fan of the Black Dahlia Murder. This release is no exception. I think this is some really sensational stuff. Nice little glossy 6-panel digipack. Got a full scope of the Daemorph artwork. Really incredible artwork design. It's not something you would expect on a Black Dahlia Murder release, but I think for some of the concepts of this record, I think it's mighty fine. You got a booklet in here, additional credits, CD art, very nicely done release. Typical Black Dahlia Murder stuff done properly. Next is probably one of the few melodic death metal bands, the more well-known melodic death metal bands that I can stand behind. This is Soilwork with The Ride Majestic. I've long been a fan of Soilwork. I mean, there is certain melodic death metal bands that I can really get some enjoyment from, and Soilwork is being one of those seldom very few. I mean, I don't get much enjoyment out of certain other sort of current day melodic death metal bands, but Soilwork has always done the trick for me. And this release is pretty solid in its own right. I mean, they're following up what was probably one of their most ambitious releases yet. Double album, two different records, just doing what Soilwork knew how to do best. And pretty much this is back to basics, business as usual. I love Speed Street's vocals. I've always loved his vocal style, his aggressiveness, and his charisma. Great songwriting going on here as per usual with this band for me. This is the Digipack edition. There's a couple of bonus tracks on here, and I know that they're currently doing the tour thing right now. I think they were touring with Decapitated and Soulfly, if I'm not mistaken. So if that tour was going on and you happen to check them out, make the effort to do so. Since we're on a Nuclear Blast roll here, here's another Nuclear Blast band that you probably may have heard of. This is Nile with What Should Not Be Unearthed. I've long been a Nile fan, but I'll be quite honest with you. While I did enjoy the last album that they put out, At the Gate of Sethu, I thought it was somewhat of a letdown in comparison to what the more current sound of Nile was like. I mean, I really loved albums like Ithithalic and Those Whom the Gods Detest. Those records had some very classy, memorable death metal songs on here. This album is pretty much somewhat of a return to form, for me at least. I think this is leagues and miles ahead better than At the Gate of Sethu. And one thing I've always loved about Nile records is the fact that whenever you open up a booklet and you're reading along the lyrics, you get the liner notes. You get the liner notes that basically explain each single song by concept, idea, what went on in the studio. I think that's one of the many big traits that I enjoy the most about Nile, is the fact that they go into such detail into their songs. I think this is a really solid release. Good riffs, great vocals, I would say. This little J-card packaging, you got the jewel case package with the booklet and the liner notes. I think this is a fun release. Pretty much if you're into what Nile has been putting out, I would give this one a shot. I think it's a lot better than At the Gate of Sethu. And the last album in the CDs is pretty much the one album that I never thought I would ever buy. I haven't liked anything that this band has been putting out for a very, very long time. And then when I noticed some of my more established, knowledgeable metal friends speak praise highly of this record, it finally gave me the idea to want to finally listen to this album and then eventually buy it. And I, of course, am talking about Cradle of Filth with Hammer of the Witches. Let me tell you something. 1992 to 2000 is the era of Cradle of Filth I enjoy the most. I mean, Dusk in Her Embrace, Cruelty and the Beast, Midian, all of that stuff. That is the Cradle of Filth that I love. And listening to an album like Hammer of the Witches really brought me back to that fonder era of Cradle of Filth. I mean, of course, it's stereotypical and taboo to even be a fan of Cradle of Filth or be into what they do. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I like some of this band's stuff. Like I said, I liked the first 8 years of this band's existence. But ever since then, things have been hit and miss. I mean, I like certain songs, but I don't like certain albums. But that's just personal preference. It doesn't have anything to do with elitism or anything like that. It's just stuff that I couldn't get into. But this is the first Cradle of Filth album that I can safely say that I love. And I am very happy to say that, because I hated this band for years. And it's good to say that this is an awesome album. This is one of the best things they've put out in a very, very long time. This could even be right up in there with the first 8 years of this band's existence, I would say. This blows a lot of what Cradle of Filth have been putting out over the years. And, I mean, even fans who love that era of Cradle of Filth, the first 8 years, should give this album a shot. I would say it's worth taking a risk. I was hesitant to give this album a listen at first, but I'm glad I did listen to it, because it was very much well worth it. This is a Digipack version. You got a nice little Digipack here with, of course, the really nicely done artwork on here. You got some bonus tracks on here. They're nice too, but I mean, listen to songs like Yours Immortally and The Monstrous Sabbat. I mean, just some amazing songwritings on here. I mean, Danny Filth, you may love him or hate him. I think the dude can write some very well thought out and entertaining lyrics. This guy's a master storyteller, regardless of what you think of him. But that's just my thing. Anyway, let's move on to the tapes. Got a lot of cool tapes to show you here. First, I got this tape I got from Behold Barbarity. This is a co-release between Behold Barbarity and Darkness Attack Records. I own this album on CD and vinyl, but it was pretty cool to finally have it on tape. This is Helvetron with Death Scroll of Seven Hells and its Infernal Majesties. This is one of those bands that features people who are involved in bands such as Nexul and Yogtables. This is more verging towards death doom. And a fun little factoid that I never really even noticed. Since Darkness Attack put out this release, this is the label that's run by the dudes in Black Witchery, I had no idea that Impurath was playing bass with Helvetron. I couldn't even recognize him playing bass. I think that's really cool that he played with them at Hell's Head Bash. I don't know if he's actually a member of the band or not, but I still think that's a really awesome thing to know about them. But anywho, this is a slipcase cover with the some really nice artwork on here. Got the little album cover on the back. You got the actual cover itself, black and white cover, professionally done tape, black pro tape. You got a nice little layout here, pro layout, band members, small lyrics. You gotta really squint. I mean, if you have the CD and vinyl version, you can read the lyrics, but it's a little hard to read here, but that's a tape for you. What can you do? And I have the Die Hard version, which of course comes with a patch, this sublimated Helvetron patch. Nicely done here, and who knows, this will probably have some room on my vest. Next is a release from Von Frost Records. This is Archaic with Aquelar Regressor. 2 demos put into 1 tape, basically. I've given coverage to this guy's work. Of course, you know I'm talking about the man behind Vociferian, Goat Holocaust, and Ebosh Noir. My good friend Lord Genocide, aka Adrian. This is more of a sludge doom sort of project. Very well thought out stuff. Really good releases if you want to get to know the doomier side of this guy's projects. Got a nice pro layout here. You got Adrian right there, the credits. Show this stuff out here. I don't know if it's supposed to be like this or like this, but I don't care. It's a really nice layout. It's on a white pro tape, very old school style design on here, and it came with a the version I got came with a canvas patch with the band logo on here, canvas printed patch. Really well done patch here. But if you're into sludge and doom, check out Archaic. I think this is some fun stuff. Next 2 tapes are from the fine folks over at Graceless Recordings. I got these through Caligari Records, I want to say, but yeah, these 2 releases I'm going to tell you about are from Graceless Recordings. First off is Hombre with self-titled release, Hombre. This is a one-man Canadian black metal project from a guy by the name of Philippe Boucher, whom you know best from bands such as Beyond Creation and Cathelist. Like I said, black metal, Canadian black metal solo project. I believe this album came out a couple of years ago, but is finally getting somewhat of a analog tape sort of treatment. You got the layout here. You have the man himself, and you got some sort of passages written in the French-Canadian language. Really great stuff. Very traditional to the roots sort of black metal, and it's on a nice little chrome-tinted sort of tape. Very awesome packaging going on here with this release. And next is one of the very best albums of this year. Some of the releases that I've been listening to that I consider the best of the year can be either considered through CD, record, or tape. And this is one of the best albums as far as the tape side of things is concerned. This is Black Earth with A Cryptic Howl of Morbid Truth. This was digital only, self-released by the band, but Graceless put out the tape version. I think this is some sensational black metal. They're based out of Spain. Very harsh noise-driven sort of black metal, very haunting and crazy sort of stuff. I mean, think, if you will, of maybe stuff like maybe Titan Blood to an extent, but a lot more harrowing and crazier. You got a nice little black pro tape with the logo and assorted other credits on here, side A, side B. You got the little layout here. Pretty much bare bones, just the artwork and the credits themselves. Very scary and terrifying stuff. You're probably going to see this again in my top 20, but you never know. This is a top quality release, I would say. And these last 3 tapes have something in common, I would say. They're pretty much sold out everywhere you look, and they're somewhat hard to find nowadays. First off is, since I mentioned the Caligari Records purchases, this is an actual Caligari Records release. This is Gloam with Hex of 9 Heads. Very awesome black metal slash doom sort of hybrid from California. This came out very early in 2015, and I think this is a very sensational album. Great lyrics, great vocals, great presentation. It's a very solid presentation and release. Nice little J card here. You got the credits on here, and you got the band members themselves. Just the way everything is done just works out very well to this band's advantage, and the tape is a pretty nicely done chrome sort of clear sort of tape. Like I said, this album has been sold out for quite a while, but you can definitely buy some merch to help this band out. I'll leave you links to where you can listen to that release in question if you want to get things done on the digital side. In my previous album review EP review of the last Tetragram Aside release, I talked about a three-way split that they were involved in, and this is the three-way split in question. This is the split between Lord of Depression, Infernal Sacrament, and Tetragram Aside, released on Freezing Records. Very deadly split. This split takes no shit from anybody. You got a red pro tape with the Freezing Records logo and 3 little logos representing each of the bands. The split itself is called Atomic Regurgitation from the 3 Mouths of Humanicidal Hate. Yeah, real deal stuff. Infernal Sacrament is just a crazy band. Lord of Depression is great too. Of course, I mentioned Tetragram Aside, they're awesome too. You have a little rundown of what kind of a split you're getting yourself into. The artwork is really nice. And you got a little bit of a manifesto written underneath Tetragram Aside's credits. Behold Barbarity is going to put out the CD version of this, so in case you happen to miss out on the tape, you're going to have something to listen to on CD when that comes out. And the last tape here is a demo that I have been waiting a very long while for. I was shocked to find out that they were going to come out with it, and once the news came out that this tape was available and that it was super limited, I had to jump at the opportunity to get it. And this is DIY as it gets. This is Thy Feeble Savior with the Blasphemic Disgust demo. Houston, Texas black metal. My very good friend Matt from Blaspherian plays drums for this project. Francisco from HRA. He also played in Morbosidad. Really raw, dirty, blasphemous black metal. I mean, think if you will to maybe even Profanatica. This is some heavy Profanatica worship going on here. It's on a white little dub tape. And the layout is very much DIY, kind of a red cardstock sort of thing here. You got the band members themselves, that's Francisco and that's Matt. You got the credits on here, recorded on a 4-track in a rehearsal room. This was released on Necrotic Noise, and this is limited to only 66 copies. Mine is number 20 out of 66. This tape sold out fast, and there's going to be more versions of this certain release to come, hopefully, and there's also going to be a split done with the band Ruin coming out really soon, so I'm interested to hear more of what Thy Feeble Savior has to offer. And now we get to the records. First off is one of the surprise releases for me. I didn't really expect to love this album as much as I did, but I think it gets better with every single listen. This is Genocide Pact with the album Forged Through Domination. A389 recordings, pretty much a bunch of grindcore dudes playing death metal. Majority of the people involved in this band play in a band called Disciples of Christ, and they formed this sort of death metal project. A lot of heavy old obituary worship going on here. Really amazing death metal, awesome visual aspects, great vocals, great music. This is some very authentically done death metal here. Comes with this really cool little fold-out sort of layout thing. You got these crime jail sort of photos going on here. You got the somewhat, what I assume are the lyrics and the credits on here. And you got these crucified folks on this other side of the thing. There's a t-shirt design of this, I think. This is some pretty rowdy stuff. The packaging on here is very well done. I like how this LP jacket feels, and the vinyl itself sounds great as well. It's on a very well colored purple vinyl. Very beautiful record, and it sounds awesome too. So Genocide Pact is a band worth paying attention to. Next is a release from Iron Bonehead Productions. These next three, I should say, I got from Dark Descent as part of that anniversary sale that they had. First off, we have an Iron Bonehead Productions release. This is Shroud of the Heretic with Unorthodox Equilibrium. Really killer US death doom. Great release. I love the sound that this band brings. Very powerful, heavy, and hard-hitting. I really like what this band has done here with this album. It's a major step up from what they've been doing in the past. You got a nice little gatefold here with the band members themselves and an additional look at the artwork. It comes on a standard black vinyl, but it also comes with a really cool fold-out poster of just the artwork by itself. Really beautiful artwork done here. I really love the way that this artwork looks. It really complements this band's style and ideas. So, Shroud of the Heretic are really worth looking into. Next is a release from the fine folks over at Gilead Media. This is Pale Chalice with Negate the Infinite and Miraculous. Very impressive debut. A lot of good ideas being presented into this release. Awesome lyrics, great musicianship, just a lot of awesome work ethics being presented here on this release. Got this little one-sided thing here. It has the band members themselves, and of course you have the lyrics in the credits. It comes on a standard black vinyl, and I believe this comes with a digital download card if you want to listen to it digitally. So Pale Chalice is really incredible. I like this release a lot. And since I bought something from Dark Descent, it wouldn't be right if I didn't get something from the label. And this is a release that I have been anticipating for quite a good while now. This is Adversarial with Death, Endless Nothing, and the Black Knife of Nihilism. Probably one of the longest album titles all year, but probably one of the best albums, period. This band has come a very long way. They have gotten better and better with their respective sounds and presentations. These guys represent Canadian black death metal extremely well here. I really love this release a lot. It is a massive, massive step up from what they have been putting out, what they put out prior to this. And you can tell that this is a band that was changing their sound up once they did that split with not Adversarial, but the Antediluvian. That split that they did with Antediluvian, I think it's really amazing. I mean, listen to the songs Ionic Spiritual Warfare, Old Ruins Slumber in a Cruising Hatred of Man. Some of the deadliest riffs you'll hear all year long. I like how on the back of this booklet it has the song titles. You got to turn it around in order to read what the song titles are in particular, and in addition to what else is going on here. 12 by 12 page booklet on here. Really well thought out booklet here. Standard black vinyl, and it also comes with a digital download card in case you want to listen to it digitally. But it's worth listening to on vinyl. And of course the album cover is far different than what you would expect on the CD. The CD is red and black, this is white and black, so great album cover. Adversarial have delivered a great black death metal record. And these last two I picked up locally from Hog Wilds here in San Antonio. These two are part of the Relapse Records 25th Anniversary reissue series. They've been reissuing a lot of some of their back catalog, and these two that I saw were ones that I needed to add to the collection. So, since I mentioned Nile earlier in this video, I figured I'd show you an actual vinyl from the band Nile, and this is my favorite album of theirs, by far. This is Amongst the Catacombs of Nephron Ka. The classic Nile lineup. Pete Hamura, Carl Sanders, Chief Spires, the classic trio of the original lineup. I love how this first album sounded. I love the rawness of it. I love the fact that this was straight up classic sort of death metal sound being represented by the ancient Egyptian Sumerian mythologies that you would come to know Nile for. really great album, and is still one of my all-time favorites of theirs as far as the older Nile releases are concerned. I love the gold embossed foil that's on this release, and the vinyl itself is one of those merge vinyl colors. It's orange and yellow. You got a little bit of orange on this side with the yellows merge going on here, and the other side you get more yellow this side than you do orange. It sounds great. I really think this is a really well done vinyl release. It also comes with a digital download just in case. And last is another Relapse reissue, and I would consider this not only to be in the all-time favorite albums list for me, but as far as grindcore albums are concerned, this is cream of the crop as far as I'm concerned. This is Pig Destroyer with Prowler in the Yard. This album is pretty much hard to come across anywhere lately. This has been selling a lot. They haven't put this album on vinyl in a long time, and once I saw the Pig Destroyer record there, I just had to grab it. This is one of my favorite grindcore albums of all time. The Paul Booth album cover art is really, really nice. It suits this whole entire album's concept and ideas. You got the back here with the band members, the original trio. You got some additional tracks. This is a remastered version, I want to say. I have the original CD, one of the original CD versions, but this vinyl sounds really nice too. You got a little layout here with the lyrics and band member photos. This is some straight up savage grindcore. This is my favorite Pig Destroyer album ever, and like I mentioned, it's one of my favorite grindcore records of all time. I mean, songs like Jennifer, Trojan Whore, Tickets to the Car Crash, one of the craziest grindcore songs that Pig Destroyer has ever done, and it came in a lot of vinyl variants, but the version I got is the Oxblood color on here. Nice little stamps on the records itself. It sounds great, and I really like the job that they did with this presentation. I'm really happy to own Prowler in the Yard on vinyl. One of my favorite grindcore albums of all time, and one of my favorite albums of all time in general. So that's going to conclude this collection update. I'll leave you links in the description box to some selected bands. Have a listen to some of them and see what you think of them. If you happen to have heard any of these releases, definitely let me know what you think of them. I would like to have a great discussion with you about it. So I'm going to conclude this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.